Do it again. All right. Thanks, everyone. If you want to run away, that's your moment. Nobody. Okay, good. You close that down. Is it big enough for everybody? More bigger. More bigger. More bigger. More bigger. Yes. Okay. So I did not know that Ors would do like a whole 20 minutes on Kotlin notebooks. So if it's repeating, then you can sleep a little bit or just do something else. That's fine. So my talk is not really prepared, but I want to show you like a little bit, dive into the rabbit hole that I've done. So for those of you that don't know me, I've joined ING 9 months ago again, but I was there like back. I was there a while back, and I was one of the first teams that had introduced Kotlin at ING, right? So now I'm coming back, and I'm like, well, where are we now? So the last months I've been looking at, okay, but how much Kotlin do we actually have at ING? So we're going to go through that now together. And at the same time, I hope that you can look at something or learn a bit about something that I find super interesting, which are Kotlin notebooks, right? So Kotlin notebooks, everybody knows about Python notebooks, Jupyter notebooks, I expect, right? Nice without the drawbacks of Python, because Python is terrible with like dependency management and all of that stuff. Kotlin is like all of the JVM goodness with notebooks, which is awesome. So we're going to go through a few things, and please feel free to interject at any moment. Now, Kotlin notebooks, they are solo. You can create them since 2025 in IntelliJ. You can just create them like this, right click, create a Kotlin notebook. There's many other ways to do it, but you can really do that in your project straight up. You have dependencies like this. You can use like dependencies from Maven, like that. That's one example, but there's also quite a few of them that are just directly embedded, which have a bit of a strange syntax, but that's how it works. We're going to start by something very quickly. You can do HTTP clients very simply like this. I do need to import my dependencies first. That helps. And then before running, I'm going to ask a few questions, and we'll see if you can find. So the first thing is, okay, this is a little JSON file that's online, and that tells me who is in space right now and where they are. I don't know if that's interesting to you. It is interesting to me. But note that you have like quite some nice syntactic sugar. Deserialized JSON. By the way, what time does I think it's until 05, right? Yeah, awesome. Okay. The cool thing is I didn't have to write like data classes. I didn't have to deserialize. I didn't have to instantiate anything. It's just like HTTP GET. I get a response, and it's printed in there. I can also directly play with it. Like, it's deserialized JSON, but it's an object. So I can play like this and then start doing like filters and counts and things like this. So that's awesome, right? Very quick. If you want to script things around, you can play around like this. Now that's nice. We've done some HTTP queries. Next thing is, if you do Kotlin notebooks, normally you tend to want to do analysis. So there is quite a lot available in Kotlin notebooks around data frame, which is a library that has to do with like, data loading and playing around with. So in this case, I'm going to load a SQL table. And one of the things that I find pretty cool is you have access to, it is going to be a little small, I think, but that's fine. You get like a very nice output format, right? So, it's data. So it is a frame, a data frame. But you can go around like this. You can filter things, you can sort things. If you want to play up, there you go. And by the way, if you're not at ING, this is like a list of all of the repositories we have inside our Azure environment. So I've loaded repositories right now. You can do the same from JSON. So same kind of thing. Or this time I went a little different because there is nested JSON. So I decided to write my own serializable data class and repositories. And I'm loading a file. And I should not forget to run it. And run this guy. So here this time, so I was just defining some syntactic functions. Now I'm loading my file, and I'm going to look at the, oh, forgot. Oh, yes. I'm a bad person. I tend to just run everything here, usually. Okay, same again. We see everything available. That's from JSON, transform into a data frame. That's interesting in itself. If you want to filter, play around, if you want to, see how many things have been created in 2025, for example. Now, where it becomes interesting is, visualizing, right? If you want to show things to people, you kind of want to show things in a compelling way. So here we're going to start doing something. Do you have an idea of how many repositories we have within ING? If you take like the entirety of Azure, and then you make a count of the number of repositories we have. I'm taking bets. Okay, someone's reading the blog. What's that? All of it. All of it. Everything. Oh, you see it. Yeah. Okay, I don't even have to run. That's awesome. Okay, so there is about 92,000 repositories inside Azure that are loaded. So now we're going to do something a little fun. We're going to look at repositories that have been that are not marked in maintenance, and also that have been touched since the move to Azure, right? So we're going to do that like this. We're going to filter, make two groups, and now we're going to create. We're going to create a data frame around that. So you can see here, we're going to create accounts. So the size of our two repos, and we're going to make a data frame together with the name of the buckets that we're creating. So we're creating two buckets together with them. And then using this, we can actually plot things around, deciding what type of plot we want. And that's where we're entering Candy, which is the visualization library, works natively with data frames. And then we can play around and say, okay, we're going to slice by count, and then this is the kind of color I want. Active is orange, empty is green, and then the size, right? And I think if I run this, there you go. So we have about 20% of our 90,000 repositories that are active, right? So we work with about 20% of the code base is active at any moment at ING. Okay, that's only so much fun. Now, if I want to go into Conly, I want to give you another example of data sets. We're going to go for bar charts. So same kind of work I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the repositories, and this time, so I'm adding the date, the year at which it has been processed last, and I'm looking at the percentage. So in a given repo that has a certain language in it, I'm going to look at the percentage of that repo, of that language in the repo, right? So the idea for me was looking at, okay, we have Kotlin repositories, but is there a lot of Kotlin in them, or is it just two lines somewhere? Okay. And I've done it for Scala as well, because the big thing, if you talk to an architect and you talk about Kotlin, they're like, yeah, but Scala is the official thing at ING. So interesting thing. So if you take a Java repo, on average, there's about 80% of Java in there. That's also containing like looking at configuration files, XMLs, all of that stuff. For Kotlin, we're at 70%, and Scala 40%, right? So on average, a repository that contains Scala at ING has less than half of it in Scala. Not taking any conclusions, just saying straight facts. And then because I want to play around with Condy, I'm going to look at 4 repositories that contain Kotlin. I want to see how many more we have every year, right? Cumulative. And the idea here is to show you that we can create aggregates, and we can stack different types of graphs on the same graph at the same time, right? Just for, because why not? And here, yeah, this is the amount of Kotlin repos we have over time per year based on the first commit date, which, by the way, means that I've taken the time to download every single repository we have and looked at. So, and 2019 is the introduction of Kotlin, right? So we see that we have growth. 2025 is not, so the data was run in January. That's why we have a very low number. All right. And then we're going to do, so what I will, yes, the very last one is looking at the different types of repos we have in the segregation over time, because I want to look at trends, all right? So this is the trends based on the last update, so things that are, what do you call that, active, for each of the main flavors of JVM, right? And what I like here is that we see, well, of course, it's very small compared to Java, right? Everybody, but we do see Scala going down over time and Kotlin going up. Again, no conclusion being done here. I haven't looked into it. I think Groovy has a lot to do with, for example, the Gradle file is written Groovy. So you have Groovy in configuration files in a lot of places. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about it. Yeah. That's all I had, actually. Who knows here that we have a ING tech blog? Who does not know? Everybody knows. It's amazing. I've released a blog post exactly about that like 2 hours ago. So you could have actually left and read the blog post instead. Let's see. Oh, I have to restart the kernel because I'm trying to re-upload again. But if you have no question, then I'm going to show you a lot of other things that I haven't shown today. Do you have any questions about Canly, data frame, Kotlin notebooks? You can, yeah, go for it. Yeah, no, I would love to. That's the next step, because then you have to kind of have access to, you have to know who's in production. So you kind of have to interface with another.
You can quantify like each book.
If you have ideas, please contact me because I've been searching and I want to know actually. One thing that I can find, maybe you would find interesting is, let's see, where is it now? Yes, this is, we do have Clojure. We have 4 repositories in Clojure that are active. So I don't know who that is, but we do have Clojure. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so and I've also looked into other things that I won't show you now because we're going to go to the next one. But I've looked at, is it more in Europe or in Asia, for example, like who's writing the Kotlin? It seems to be about the same everywhere, apparently. So there is not like one region that's before the others. And in terms of total penetration, if we look at last year, this. Look at because I think one of the things that I've done if you look at the total repositories, then you're kind of overweight by the sheer amount of legacy existing code we have. So I wanted to look at last year, like given a moment now, how high is the chance that someone pops a new repo and it's Kotlin, right? Because otherwise you're going to always be outweighed by Java. And we're at about 11%. I don't know if you find that good or not. But yeah, about 11% of the repositories that are created today within ING will be created in Kotlin or contain Kotlin. And that's about, for now, it's just under 500 in total. I don't know if you find it interesting, but I had a lot of fun doing this. Yeah, I think we can stop here. Any questions? And then Arno, maybe you can come and set up. Oh, and obviously the next step is to do much better. So next year I will come back with the next iteration and I need you to, put your Kotlin champion pad up.